Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late. No excuse. Just a reason is that I was working. Lost track of time. Responding to emails and messages. So let's have a look. Just trying to get ahead of the day. Kathy, you've gone and got yourself a gold medal. She'll be delighted. And let's have a look. Helen Edwards, silver. Helen, I tell you, you're on fire. Carol, lovely Carol. How are you? You've gone and got yourself a bronze. Morning, Jackie. How is everybody? Morning, Debbie. Now, please do share. Remember, the first person to share gets a platinum. And I look when I'm going through and liking the comments and acknowledging them and all stuff. The first share, platinum medal. Yes, hi, Deborah. I know I usually come and interrupt Simon's live, don't I? Because on a Friday morning in the tribe, Simon's alive at 6:30. And the last few weeks I've been coming and interrupting it and telling him to get out of my condiment cupboard. Oh, I might put his light on. Let's see if it makes a difference. He has a light, but let's just see. I'm gonna... Oh, God. Da. Yeah, so you know, what do you want that for? Oh, I'm not going to bother. I'm not fussed, I prefer au naturel. Hi, Leanne. Good morning, Julie. And Suzanne. Billy Jane, a lovely morning to you. Hi, Ashley. And Kate, lovely to see you, Kate. And Tracy. Tracy's doing a dance. She does a dance every Friday in the tribe. Tell you, it's a professional setup. You've got everything in there. Tracy Johnson just gets up and does a jive in a lounge every Friday, just whenever she feels like it. No set time. Occasionally she can't be arsed, and love that. I love it. It's real life. So, yes, I was upstairs at my desk just doing messages. I haven't even read this, so I've had to quickly read it. Just to, you know, I don't know why, because I know I'd like it. Well, actually, that might could be useful. So I can read better. Oh, look at that. There's a use for Simon's light. Oh, I know, we don't want it too bright, do we, Leanne? So you read it. Look at that, 211. Have you shared it yet? Right, let's see. Literally, the messages I've been getting from people who've just found it. And there's a couple of people who've just found it on YouTube. I'm absolutely delighted with that, you know, they wouldn't have been doing it. And one woman found it on day, I think it was about day 19. And she's going back and doing them all, and she can't wait to do them because she's loved them so far. And I think that's ace. That is really ace. So let's see, because obviously the shares always drop off, because I just go, have you shared it yet? Instead of the first few days I'm going, come on, share it, share it. And I don't like pressuring you to share, really, because when I'm watching some videos, I think, look, I'm not sharing it, stop going on about it. Other stuff I do share, it depends. Anyway, so we've got today, tomorrow and Sunday. Let's just see how many we can get. And look at that, how lovely. Billy Jane said Simon was good today. I'll pass that on, Billy Jane. It is, I know, he's getting better, isn't he? He's doing well. So, right, day 26, magically transform mistakes into blessings. This is a bloody good one. Now, I don't need the magic for this. I've been doing this ever since I did the first magic, and I do it. And there's some things near which I've always thought. So, you know, I love the fact when she agrees with me. I said it first, Rhonda. Not occasionally, you know, but sometimes I said it first. So, here we are. Are you ready? So, yes, yesterday was all about how good was yesterday listening for the cues, magic cues, isn't it? It is like magic, isn't it? It's brilliant. So, are you sitting comfortably? There's a little quote from Oprah Winfrey to start with. Oh, and if you're on my email list, my whole email rant yesterday, you might not have seen it yet, was about that amazing quote from yesterday morning about having the magic wand. Oh my God, I went on one. You know, I just started and it just comes from nowhere. And there's even an F word in it. I'm sorry, but you can tell I was getting vexed. So look, if you're on my email list, check your spam box, check your junk box. But Jean, I might just watch these then daily on loop for the rest of my life. Jean, that's a lot of people said they want to watch them again. That's why in the link I've put, rather than you having to scroll through Facebook and search for them, I've put them all on. As soon as I've done it, I download it and then upload it, and then I put it onto YouTube in a playlist. So obviously you get about 5,000-6,000 people watching these. You get about 50 watching on YouTube, because I don't do a lot on YouTube, you see. I think the first one's gone up to about 320. So there's not a lot, but they're there for you to make it easier if you want to do them again. So just subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free, and subscribing really does help me grow my channel, because I'm going to start doing that. Thank you, Ashley Lovely. So, not that Lovely's a last name, it's Ashley Long. So, Ashley Lovely Long. That's got a nice ring to it. So, Oprah Winfrey said, I don't have to say when it was because you know turn your wounds into wisdom. Now, when I read that before, I thought it was turn your words into wisdom, and I thought I quite like that. But now with the big light on, turn your wounds into wisdom. Oh, Oprah, I like that. Magically transform mistakes into blessings. So every single mistake is a blessing in disguise. Today's magical practice will prove it, because you're about to discover that there are actually untold blessings hidden within every mistake. A child makes many mistakes while learning how to ride a bike or write, and we never give it a second thought, because we know that through their mistakes they will learn and eventually master what they're trying to do. So why is it that adults are so hard on themselves when they make a mistake? The same rule that applies to children also applies to you. We all make mistakes, and if we didn't make them, we'd never learn anything, and we wouldn't grow any smarter or any wiser. We have the freedom to make our own choices, and that means we have the freedom to make mistakes. Mistakes can hurt, but if we don't learn from the mistake we've made, the pain we've suffered from it has been for nothing. In fact, by the law of attraction, we will keep making the same mistake over and over again until the consequences hurt so much that we finally learn from it. It's the very reason why mistakes hurt, so that we do learn from them and we don't make them repeatedly. I mean, I'm just going to put my own little thing on it now. It's so true, isn't it? I mean, as children, you don't go, you stupid child, for falling off your bike. Do you know what? You're doing it for the first time. You should be able to do it. It's the nonsense, you stupid little person. You know, you go, oh, well done, never mind, get back on, get back on, keep going, keep trying, never give up, you'll do it. And when they do it, it's wonderful, so it's fabulous. Now, the Nordic walking that I'm doing, I was reminded of this because obviously I've been recording my Nordic walking course, but I see it a lot when I teach Nordic walking, probably more than I ever do. People get really pissed off sometimes when they're learning to Nordic walk, because there's a certain technique to it. You don't just pick poles up and off you go, because you'd be trekking and be doing it wrong. You'd never get the benefit out. This isn't a little secret dig, by the way, from a Nordic walking course. I didn't know I was going to say this, but it proves the point. But for some reason, because it's just walking, when I'm teaching people, literally after 10 minutes, and I'm giving them you teach the technique in little pieces. You do it in bits and in pieces. They pick it up as they go along, rather than just saying, this is it. And you give them little bits, and you can see some people getting really frustrated with themselves. And I think if they think, because it's just walking, they should be able to do it, and they get so pissed off when they're making mistakes, and I have to tell them to give their head a wobble. And I do it on my video. I actually do a whole little video saying, look, be patient. Just because it's walking doesn't mean to say it's easy. There's a certain technique to it. So don't beat yourself up if you keep making mistakes. And people do. And I love this line. And this reminds me of a Tony Robbins sort of thing. And this is what I use when people ask me. I know this is a bit of a digression, but never mind. You can fast forward if you're watching on catch up. But there's a point to it. This little line here, in fact, by the law of attraction, we will make the same mistake over and over again. Just listen to that. Until the consequences hurt so much that we finally learn from it. Right then, let me just, this is nothing to do with this today. I'm just going to give you another little pearl of wisdom here from my point of view. So people often ask me, you know, I've put like £21 on about that. That's what I said on my email. It's roughly since in the last 2 months. That's how quickly I've put it on. I'm good at putting weight on when I decide to. Obviously because my back's been bad, and it's just because I've not been able to move and I've not adjusted my eating, and I've probably been eating more rubbish. But people often say, yeah, but how do you do it? How do you decide to, you know, how do you? And my email's a bit about that. When people start saying, I wish, oh, I tell you, I go on a right old rant. But they say, and it's a fair enough question, but how do you do it? Because I question myself sometimes when I'm in that state, and it could go on for a week or two, a month or two sometimes, God, in the past bloody years or two, and you'd just be eating crap, and then you wouldn't want to exercise, and you know what you're doing, and you just seem powerless to do anything. And you do it day in, day out, and you think, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start on Monday, oh, I'm going to start in December, oh, I'm going to start in 2024. And you just can't seem to do it. And people say, yeah, but Sally, how do you eventually do it? It's exactly that. That is the reason, and it's really hard to put into words. And it's the fact that, because obviously it's not really a mistake me keep eating rubbish and not exercising. Well, it isn't at the moment because I've not been able to move. But say if you're just comfort eating every day because you're going through stress and you know it's affecting your weight and your mood and your effort and not exercising, it's not really a mistake, it's a habit that you're choosing, which might, but the principle's the same, so just bear with me. You're probably thinking, what am I listening to? But what gets me is that I see it not as a mistake, because I don't like it, so it feels like a mistake. I'll go to bed every night and I think, oh my God, do you know what, come on, Sally. And then the pain of that behaviour, so of those mistakes, so to speak, the pain of that and doing it every day and the consequences it's having, weight gain, back fat for me, I can't get my leggings on, I feel lethargic, I feel pissed off with myself, all that, I can tolerate it for so long because I've got the short-term pain of being able to eat what the hell I want. But there comes a point where the pain of it becomes greater than the perceived pain of having to deprive yourself. I don't know if that even makes sense, but that is what does it for me. I get to a sweet spot, and that's when I think, right, do you know what, Sally, enough's enough. You know, come on, sort yourself out. And already the difference I feel from this time last week is phenomenal. It really is, just because I'm not doing that anymore. I mean, I had a couple of Frere Rocher last night because we'd got some last week. And I found a chocolate snowman in my pocket, so I had that as well. And I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered at all, but I've not been having it loads every day. So that's the difference. It's that pain of the choices that you keep making has to become greater than the short-term pleasure that you get from, say, eating the chocolate all the time, not exercising, because that's short term. But what long-term pain does that cause? It causes the daily shit that you can't stand yourself, the choices you're making. So anyway, I hope that all makes sense. It probably doesn't, but if it makes sense to one person, then that'll do. So Elizabeth says, I've just got your email about the magic wand. Powerful start to the day, thank you. Oh, I'm glad, well, you might not have liked it, but it is. And I tell you, if you're the sort of person who does it, you'll be probably unsubscribe because you'll think the cheeky bitch. Because I'm calling people out, I am. Because we've all done it. I'm not going to tell you what it's about now because I'm busy doing this. So, but I often put a little link on to sign up to my email list. I send an email every Friday. Sometimes the rants. So listen, so that I digress there, but I'm back on it. To learn from a mistake... Oh, she's going to make me go off track again. We first have to own it. And this is where many people could become undone because they often blame someone else for their mistake. Do you know what? How many times do you hear me say, this is why I think Rhonda's been on my Facebook page, I tell you, before she read this book. How many times do you hear me say, just own your bullshit. Just stop listening to your own bullshit excuses. And until you do that, and that's what my email was about this morning, until you do it, until you own it, until you take full responsibility that you've been a lazy-arsed, greedy pig, then there's nothing. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody there because I've done it myself. I've done that the last 2 months. you know, and that's probably not the best terminology to use. But I haven't been a lazy arse because I've not been able to move, but I have been in the past. I've been a greedy, gluttonous, bloody knobhead throughout my life on loads of times where I just can't be arsed and I just eat rubbish, and it's gluttony. You're doing it because you're trying to mask feelings, and I get all that. I've been there and I've done it, but you've got to own it. Why you're doing it. Don't blame other people. Don't say, I wish I had your determination. Don't say that. You've got to own it. And she's very polite in the way she says this, and I'm not. You know, yeah, you can feel Janice is going to get a mention. You're not wrong, Jane, I tell you. Do you know what? When bloody fat Janice looks at you and just says, oh, you know, it's all right for you. I've got a slow metabolism. You know, you must have a fast metabolism. Really? I get my fast metabolism, Janice, when I get my arse out of bed every morning and go and do a workout. And then I take the dog out and then I watch what I eat, even though I really want to faceplant that box of Ferrero Rocher, Janice. Yeah, all that's because I've got a fast metabolism. That's why yours is bloody slow, because you do none of that, you lazy bloody so-and-so. And that's the thing, you know, they blame other people. We all do it. We've all blamed other people. There's a great example coming up in here, I tell you, which is nothing to do with food and habit. So you've got to own your mistakes. This I don't have time, bullshit bollocks. It pisses me off. I don't have time to do fitness. Also, but I'll just stay as I am because I don't have time, because I, unlike anybody else, have only got 21 hours in my day. They're that convinced they don't have time. Can I just put a caveat in there? People who work shifts, like key workers, there was a lady who was a paramedic in my spinning classes, works long shifts, but honestly, she still got to the gym. But I probably wouldn't do it after a 15-hour shift. It's bloody hard, it is. But I've done 15-hour days and I've still done fitness. Not all the time. Of course, there's some days you don't have time. Of course, it's harder for some people. But do you know what? If I'm being honest, it's not harder for Fat Janice. She's just sat there, you know, like I used to do, getting pissed off with everybody else and thinking it's all right for everybody else. You know, I know it's probably not a PC word to use, but I don't know why, because it's just a description. I've been fat, I've been overweight, I've never been underweight, ever. Probably even when I was born. But I'm not body shaming anybody, so don't start going on at me about that if that's what you want to do. But it is just a fact that people, and it's no coincidence, you know, you don't get fit people or people, and I'm not talking about a size 10, you could be a size 18 and be fit. So I'm not necessarily talking about size, but you don't get people who are active and all that saying, oh, I don't have time. Oh, it's all right for you. I wish I had your motivation, because they've gone and got it themselves. I didn't even mean this to turn into a rant, but there you go. Right, so there's a good thing coming up. Let's consider the scenario of being pulled over. This is so true, Rhonda. I tell you, it's so true. Let's consider the scenario of being pulled over by the police for speeding and being given a speeding ticket. Instead of taking responsibility for the fact that they were speeding, we blame the police because they were hiding in the bushes on the highway around a bend. We couldn't see them. They had a radar gun, and so we didn't stand a chance. But the mistake was ours because we were the one who chose to speed. How many times do you hear it? Even when you've been warned. And like Simon will do it. He'll say, it's a bloody money-making scheme, that money-making scheme. It's ridiculous. And I do get that. There's places where I think there should be, and there's places where it is just ridiculous to have them that isn't dangerous or isn't thing, but where they should be. And I think, God, we need more speed vans there. Because I must admit, I don't speed a lot. And if I do, it's because I've been absent-minded. Because over the years, I've been on 2 speed awareness courses, and it really does make you think. You know, I must admit, I'm not a mile an hour person where it's 30 and you go at 29. That does my head in. I might go 31, 32 or 30, but I don't go 27 in a 30. That, just winds, you know, that's just my choice. But I certainly don't do 38 in a 30. You know, I must have to be really not concentrating if that's the case. So, but isn't it true? Oh, bloody policeman, you know. The problem with blaming other people for our mistake is that we will still suffer the pain and consequences of our mistakes. Oh, Rhonda, you're just on fire this morning. But we didn't learn from it, and so bingo, will attract making the same mistake again. So you can put this into anything, relationships, weight, getting a speeding ticket. I'm going to read that paragraph out again. I thought it was going to be a quick one this morning, but do you know what? This is gold. The problem with blaming other people for our mistake is that we will still suffer the pain and consequences of our mistake. But we didn't learn from it, and so bingo, will attract the same mistake again. Now, I've been saying that for years, to own your own shit, to own your mistakes. There is no shame in mistakes. And all this, there's no such thing as failure. There bloody well is. Of course there's such shit as failure, but it's brilliant if you learn from it. So, taking back to my weight example and the I wish people that was on my email this morning, I wish I had your determination. While they're sat eating Garibaldis and hobnobs and not moving and saying that they're big boned and that they were born with it, you know, just because I could have done that. I can't tell you how I understand what it feels like because I've been there. You know, you might not know if you're new to my page. But the problem with constantly blaming others or saying it's all right for others, you're never going to change. You are never, ever, ever going to change if you don't go through that uncomfortable step of owning your mistakes. And rather than calling them mistakes, on my example, call them choices. How many times do you hear me say about you've got to own your choices and accept the consequences of your choices? I have no problem and no judgment with people sofa surfing, watching all the soaps, eating what the hell they want, having all the takeaways, if that makes them happy. Of course, I don't have any issue with that. I don't have a problem with it. What I have a problem with it is if they sit there pissed off, then bad-mouthing other people and saying they wish they were like other people and that they don't have time and it's different for them. That's what does my head in, and I don't want to be around it. I don't. Just bloody wake up, people. So, and it's the same with the tickets and everything. And traffic wardens, that she doesn't do this example. This is another one of mine. Traffic wardens, how many traffic wardens do you see getting the shit ripped out of them by disgruntled people who've got a parking ticket? I don't know how you sleep at night giving, I was only 5 minutes late. Bloody, I'm here, why do you have to put it on? Why do you have to put it on, you bloody shithead? I've seen traffic wardens get absolutely beasted. Yeah, I'd love to be a traffic warden, I tell you. Can you imagine the shit I'd give back? Bloody hell. Well, I wouldn't. I'd be giving them all sorts of little words of wisdom. You've got to own your mistake. But traffic wardens get such a hard time, you know, and really it's their frustration. It's the person's frustration that they've been late. Doesn't matter what the reason was, whether there was a queue in the bank, whether they were helping a little old lady who fell in the street, how kind of them. But they were late. They were late, and yet they're putting their shit onto the traffic warden who's only doing his job. I tell you, if I was a traffic warden, I'd try and beat my target every day. That might sound mean, but you've got to, I would, and I'd get this thing where I just hopefully have a thick skin, she says. But we all do it, we've all done that, we all have, you know. Another example, I know these are daft examples, but I just want to highlight them because I've done this. I used to do it loads and loads and loads. When you're late because you pressed the snooze button, because you can't be arsed, because you've not got organised the day before, because you didn't charge your phone, so you have to go back in the house for your charger, because you rush into a meeting at work and you go out and the bloody windscreen's frozen, so then you're getting pissed off, you're shouting at your children as you drop them off at school, you're going mad, you're hating on your husband, you've forgotten your shopping list, You've done all those things, and then you need to get to work and all the lights are on red. You are road raging everybody you see. Somebody pulls out in front of you and you're just going, you bloody knobhead. You get into the red lights, you've got fucking red lights, it's shit, it's crap. It's everybody's fault, everybody else's fault. The traffic, the roadworks, the bloody council. What are they doing roadworks for now on a bloody Friday morning? You know, there's no bloody else working there. So why have they got these traffic lights on? You know, it's a nonsense, it's stupid. All because you kept pressing the snooze button. All because you are late, yet you managed to make it everybody else's fault. And not only that, when you get into work, you take all your shit that you've created because of your choices and you dump it on poor Carol, who's just had a really bad news that her cat got run over and she's upset. And you're taking all this inane, stupid, irrelevant shit and you dump it on Carol with a dead cat. So, I know, I've got my adrenaline going. I need to just take a breath, get my water. There's none in. I'll have some leftovers from Simon's. So, magically transform your blessings into mistakes. So now you've got the gist of what happens. Sorry about all that, but we've all done it. I know I used to do it so much before I did this for the first time. You know, did it all the time. Time to own it, ladies. And do you know what? This is what I say to the tribe members. This is what being in the tribe is all about. I mean, I'm not selling it because you can't join until February. But of course, it's about fitness and yoga and coaching and all that. But really, intrinsically, deep down, what joining the tribe is about the ability to own your own bullshit. Because that, let me tell you, is when transformation starts to happen. The amount of people, like people who say, me too, I'm the same, you know, that's brilliant. That's only a lot of people, I'll have pissed a few people off this morning. Oh, I don't like her, she's a gobshite. And they'll be the people who aren't ready to own their mistakes. Think, do you know what, I do that? Shit, I've been doing that. I always say to people, I wish I had your. And do you know what, I don't actually go out and walk. And I know I do eat too much, but it's because I'm depressed. And I get that. I totally get that. And that's not the issue. You know, if you're binge eating every day because you're depressed, because you hate yourself, because you've got yourself in this funk, I've been there, I get it. But that tribe thing is where we really work, all with doing stuff like this, on finally getting people to just own it. And it's just magical, I tell you. So if you can convince one person to do it, then, you know, let's have a look. Yes, just I've not seen any things. If anybody's thinking who's Fat Janice or who's Crazy Carol Cat Lady, and the other two are usually Tracy and Julie, they're all fictitious characters. So, right, the problem with blaming other people for our mistakes is that we will still suffer the pain and consequences. I've said that. You are human, we all make mistakes, and it's one of the most beautiful things about being human, but you must learn from your mistakes, otherwise your life will have a lot of unnecessary pain. How do you learn from a mistake? How do you learn from it? Gratitude. Right, so here we go. No matter how bad something may seem, there are always many things to be grateful for. When you look for as many things as you can, be grateful for it in a mistake, you magically transform the mistake into blessings. Mistakes attract more mistakes and blessings attract more blessings. Which would you prefer? So today, think about a mistake you have made in your life. It doesn't matter whether it was a big or small mistake, but choose one that still hurts when you think about it. Maybe you lost your temper with a person close to you and the relationship has never been the same since. Maybe you put blind faith in another person and got burned. Maybe you told a white lie to protect someone else, and because of it, you ended up in a difficult situation. You might have chosen the cheaper option on something and it all went wrong and ended up costing you a whole lot more. You might have thought you were making the right decision about something, but it completely backfired on you. Once you've chosen mistakes to magically transform it into blessings, look for the things to be grateful for. To help you, there are 2 questions you can ask. What did I learn from that mistake? And what are the good things that came out of that mistake? The most important things to be grateful for about every mistake are the things you have learned from it. And no matter what the mistake, there are always many good things that come out of it. and altered your future for the better. Think this through very carefully and see if you can find a total of 10 blessings to be grateful for. Every blessing you find has magical power. Write out the list on your journal or computer. So I want you to pick a mistake, and she's going to give you an example in a minute, and then we're done, because I've gone on a bit this morning and I was 7 minutes late as well. So the one thing so pick a mistake. Can be something tiny, it can be something really small, or it could be something really big. Mine's one that comes to mind for me that I've learned so much from, and this is what made me start doing this, is me and my brother, going back 10 years now, we're buying properties, doing them up and renting them out, working our arses off, and then eventually we were doing little terraced houses, 2-3 bed terraces, and we had about 11, and it was our pension fund, and we were doing them all ourselves. He's a builder, and me and my dad used to take them all to bits. And then just before the recession, we went up market and we bought an old hotel on Morecambe Seafront, derelict, and we got it for an absolutely brilliant price. And my brother had never done a project that big before, and we bought it, literally signed up and did it, and we're doing it, and it was we were doing up to rent, and then up next door we nearly finished that, and the next door came up, so we bought that as well, and it would have gone brilliantly. It would have gone, we would have paid our mortgages off, we'd have made shitloads of money, our pension funds would have been full. But the recession hit and it all went horribly wrong, all of it. And that's what ended up making us bankrupt. We lost everything, our pension funds, remortgaged it on the house, just lost everything. It was just awful. And so it was a mistake. And I often used to look all the time, if we hadn't if we hadn't bought that hotel on Morecambe Seafront. And I remember literally about 4 years ago, because it's still really painful, well, probably 3 years ago, I was walking at this time of year, I was walking down Morecambe Prom, and I passed the flats, and it was either 2 or 3 years ago. My dad was still alive, he passed away last year, and I looked up, and they were beautiful. We did them to a really high standard, all Farrow & Ball paints, everything, and the kitchens, they were just stunning, overlooking the sea. Just incredible. And I looked up at the window, and on a big corner, they had massive big bay windows, and there was a lady, and we'd lost them all. They'd been repossessed, the lots, so they weren't ours anymore, and they'd all been taken off us and repossessed, and we were left with owing $250,000 to the bank, and that's why we were made bankrupt. And the lady was putting tree lights on so I'm going to put tree lights on the Christmas tree in the window. And I remember thinking then, fucking hell, it's all good. If it hadn't gone wrong, if we hadn't signed, none of this shit would have happened, this stress, this trauma that created the depression and the drinking too much, all because we signed up that house. And it made me bitter and angry. If we hadn't done it, bloody hell, should never have done it. But since doing this book, I've been able to put a whole new spin on it. And the difference I feel now, I'm so grateful that we did it. I'm so grateful that we did it, and we lost everything. And yes, a lot of people lost money, because it was just awful. But it happened. We weren't bad. It was just an awful thing that happened because of circumstance, the financial markets. And now I look at it, and I just say thank you, because I have all those amazing memories with my dad. All those amazing memories, the 8 years of laughs and belly laughs as we're doing up the properties, and we used to work hours and hours there. I have gratitude for the fact that if it hadn't all gone horribly wrong, I would not have set up my retreat business. I wouldn't be doing it. I would not have run a single juice and fitness retreat. I would not have set up a Facebook page. I would not have this wonderful community. I would not have my monthly membership, the tribe, with all those amazing members in it who I get to know really well. I would not be part of people's transformations. I wouldn't get the beautiful messages that I get from people, even on this magic, saying, oh my goodness, none of that, none of it, not one bit of it would have happened. That I'd be driving around in a Range Rover, I'd have 4 holidays a year, I wouldn't have a mortgage, at the moment we're still mortgaged up to the hilt. I wouldn't have any of that. I'd had 4 holidays a year. Literally everything would have been paid off, mortgage free, massive yield coming in. Would have been bloody happy as Larry, or so I thought. And now I realise that that just means jack shit. It's very nice. I'm going to work my arse off to, you know, get the mortgage paid off. That's my dream. But all that is superficial stuff. I wouldn't have had all those memories or anything. And that's all because of that one perceived mistake. So what I want you to do today is, what's your perceived mistake? And it could be something tiny. It could be you said no to somebody, you know. So I can list easily 10 gratitudes about that mistake, the people I've met, the stuff I've done. You know, it's just incredible. The visits I've had to London, the people I've met there. I just wouldn't have met, you know, working on Jason Vale's retreats as a fitness instructor when I was really nervous. I loved that job. You know, I wouldn't have done any of that. I wouldn't have done it all, you know. So it absolutely shapes us. So if you're in the pit of despair at the moment, dwelling on a mistake, then please, 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 just sit with it today and write 10 gratitudes. I know that's really hard, especially if you feel there isn't anything to be grateful for. And let's just have a look. So I'm going to give a 10, just so you can see how it works. She says, let's take the example of being caught speeding by a police car. I'm conscious of the time, but never mind. Who's in a rush? Right, so these are just 10 examples, all right? So I'm grateful to the police for wanting to protect me from harming myself. Because before I start, sorry, I know I want to be quick, but we just bitch and moan about a speeding fine, don't we? Especially if we've got a God of awareness course. Oh, for God's sake. We're not even grateful that we're being stopped from getting 3 points and a £100 fine. Got to go to bloody Liverpool now, bloody speed awareness course. And we sit there all pissed off that we shouldn't be there, and we're all uppity and crap as we go in because it wasn't our fault. It's because there was something on the road, or it's because I was in a rush. Honestly, last speed awareness, the first speed awareness course I went on, I was like that. The second one, because I'd done this, I was a completely different person. Really respected the person for doing the job. I was aware of the people who were like me on the first one because they weren't taking ownership of their own mistake. I tell you, it just makes you it really does have an impact. So these are the reasons Rhonda Byrne gives. Instead of bitching about a speeding fine, these are her examples. I'm grateful to the police for wanting to protect me. I'm grateful to I won't keep saying I'm grateful to the police because it does me head in. Because I'm honest with myself, I was thinking about other things and I wasn't concentrating. Because I was foolish to put myself at risk speeding with a tyre that needed to be replaced. For the wake-up call, being pulled over did affect me, and it will make me watch my speed and drive more carefully in the future. I'm grateful for somehow I had a wild idea that I could speed without getting caught and without putting myself in danger. The seriousness of the police made me face with the fact I was putting both myself and others at serious risk. I think about my own family being put in danger by other speeding drivers, that I definitely want the police to stop speeding drivers. For the work that they do in trying to ensure the safety of every person, family on the roads. The police must see heartbreaking situations every day, and all they're trying to do is protect my life and my family's life. I'm grateful to them for making sure that I arrived home safely and walked through the door to my family as I usually do. And I'm grateful to the police because of all the possible consequences that could have stopped me from speeding. The police pulling me over was the least harmful consequence, and it could have been the biggest blessing of my life. So I would strongly urge you to take any mistake you've made in your life that you still feel bad about, and in your own time, follow this magnificent and magical practice. Think about it. Through one mistake, you have the power to bring many blessings into your life. What else guarantees dividends like that? I mean, how amazing is that? So, let's have a look. I know when you put that, Leslie, that's true. When you put on the spot, you think, I can't actually think of a mistake. What mistake is it? You know, what mistake do you do when you forget to... Do you remember when you had an old VHS video recorder and you forgot to record Coronation Street? I mean, I've not watched Coronation Street for 20 years, but when you used to watch them all and you forgot to record it, bloody hell, that was a mistake and a half. Ooh, you sat down all ready with your tea, with your turkey drummers or your mini Kievs. It's what me and Sam used to do before we had children. And a bit of mash. Oh, and tomato sauce. Oh, I could eat that, you know. Turkey drummers, I used to love them. A turkey burgers with beans and oven chips. And we'd sit and watch Neighbours and Home and Away on our wicker furniture because we couldn't afford our own first house and we couldn't afford furniture, so we just had a sun lounger and a shit pink carpet. I tell you, it's mad, isn't it, life? What happens in your life? But please, please, please don't fear mistakes. So just use them as gratitude. Use them as a universal cue. Follow on from yesterday's one and use it as a universal cue. All right then, so I'm sorry I've gone on. That's probably my longest one yet, but I was a bit late. So have a great, great day. Learn from your mistakes. I never ever mean to offend anybody. I'm quite happy calling people out though. If that offends you, then I'm not even sorry one bit. But certainly any terminology I use, I don't mean to offend people. Don't know why I'm saying it, but I don't. But right, have a wonderful day. If you do want to do them all again, they're on my YouTube channel. But I will see you tomorrow. Come on. I know not as many people come on Saturday and Sunday, but come on, it's the last 2 days. So do them live if you can. If you've not done them live, if you're on catch up now, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But if you can do it live tomorrow, even set your alarm for 1 minute to 7. Do it with sleep in your eye. I don't mind. All right then, lots of love and I'll see you soon. Ta-ta.